It's the Oukitel WP33 Pro rugged phone, and I don't want to say it's easy to carry this around or to daily drive this because it still comes in at roughly a pound and a quarter, but it is a little easier than some of the rugged phones and outsized battery phones out there to consider maybe using this as a daily driver. And it does have some interesting features, so I want to talk about those. So let's talk about design first off. It's a little thinner. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous to say, but it is a little bit thinner than some of the other rugged outsized battery phones out there. So that helps a little bit when you're holding it in the hand. But the big thing, and it seems like a simple thing, but it's really not, is the strap, kind of the really sturdy strap that Oukitel has fitted to the back of this device. It makes it so that you notice the weight, obviously, but it makes it easier to carry this device around and actually use it. Because when I use those other big ones that are over a pound, I feel like it's a two-handed operation. I need to kind of almost be holding the phone with two hands and then kind of whatever to have a secure grip on it because it's so thick and, you kind of got the weight attached to it. With the strap, it's kind of like on my foldables when I have one of those thumb socket things or pop sockets where I can kind of just do this on the back or one of the rings and I'm good to go. And I have that same kind of secure grip here with the strap. It also has the little ring here if you want to attach it to a belt and you could carry it around. And you could do that because of the robust design. You've got the IP ratings across the board, IP68, IP69K. You've got the military drop testing standards that you have on this as well. I think, I don't want to quote this, but I thought I saw some sort of radiation some sort of shielding. I don't know why. Like I said, I'm not going to quote that. I'm certainly not going to go next to a spent fuel rod to test that out. But let's just leave that there. But let's say it's a durable enough phone as it is, which is nice. You want to carry it around. The main thing, obviously, you're going to get from here, besides the durability, 22,000 milliamp hour battery, which is huge. Oukitel says it could last 7 days of continuous use without charging. And a continuous use doing what, obviously, is going to be the question. The overnight drain and the standby drain is non-existent on this. So if you're not using it, it's not draining. It is a 5G device. We'll talk about what powers it a little bit later on. Of course, T-Mobile in the United States, link in the description. It does help the channel. $340 is also the attractive thing. It opened up first at $500, which is a bit on the expensive side, but now is on sale for $340, which I don't think is an awful deal. Ruggedness aside, battery life aside, you're actually getting relatively decent performance for one of these devices. It's powered by the Dimensity 6100 Plus, which is the chipset I just reviewed in the Galaxy A15, which I happen to like. So 5G you pick up, and you do pick up pretty decent gaming performance. Is it going to be a beast? No. Is it going to be, as I do the face unlock, because let me do my password there. As I do face unlock. But Pokemon Go is fine. Stuff that you're going to want to run is fine. You can get medium settings on Call of Duty Mobile, PUBG, stuff like that. So you're not completely in the dark as far as gaming, and that is one of the benefits of the 6100 Plus. It's a lower-end processor. It's a budget processor, but you're getting that kind of gamingness or extra gaming capability that you wouldn't otherwise have. So while you could see a phone like the A15 coming in at $200, well, is the extra battery life, IP ratings, rugged design, all the rest of it worth that extra $140 to you? If the answer is yes, then this can be the phone that you want to pick up. You may notice the gigantic speaker on the back. You see, it says 8D digital audio. Now, I had to look this way. I was not familiar with this, got to be honest. So apparently the 8D is a technique where the sides of the speaker emit sound at a slightly different frequency. And the theory behind it is that the slightly different frequencies trick your ears into thinking it's a richer, more concert hall, larger sound than you're actually getting out of the speaker. Now, I don't know. I can't attest to the technology there or anything like that. But I can say this. They say it gets to 136 decibels. It is a absolutely high-quality speaker. I was listening to music on this. I was rocking out to Amy Grant, Madonna here. You had all the hits, all the pop hits on this thing. It gets loud. The sound is full. It doesn't distort. It's not tinny. It is a rich, powerful, full sound which you would not normally expect on a phone in this price range. And usually when they have these ridiculous outsized speakers, that's just for show, and they're not very good. Not the case here. This speaker is excellent. Very, very good. So if you, and plus you pair it with that battery, you could have this all night outside at a party, and you could be the hit of the party. It could be like when you used to slap those Moto Mods on or something like that, where you just kind of have this, put your Spotify playlist on, you pump it all the way up to 136 decibel, and you're good to go. So that's something to keep in mind as well, if that's worth a little bit extra to you, having that kind of party in your pocket with the large speaker on the back of the WP Pro, the WP33 Pro, I should say. Okay, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. So the 8 gigs of RAM paired with the 6100 Plus, that's kind of the performance that I was asking for on the Samsung device. If you remember, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more RAM on the A15. This gives you 8 gigs of RAM, and the performance reflects that. The 6100 Plus with the additional RAM does do quite well for itself. We talked about the battery life. Excellent. You're not going to have any issues there. Night vision camera. The camera's nothing to write home about. It's a Sony IMX 686 or something like that. 64 megapixel sensor. It's been in everything, but it's not going to have the computation. We'll throw up a couple shots. It's not going to have the computational photography or the computational element that takes that data, that raw data that comes in from that Sony IMX sensor, and makes it into something. It blows out photos. It doesn't quite focus that well. It's not great. What is cool, though, is the night vision. I love the night vision on these, especially if you're HVAC, if you're camping, if it's getting late, if it's dark at night, you want to set up your campsite for the night. You go ahead, you turn that on. You can look for animals or a good spot or whatever. You don't want to use a big spotlight and disturb anybody else or let anybody else know you're there, whatever it happens to be. Night vision, I think, is really cool on these, and it works really well. You got that as well. Downside, as always with a lot of these devices, is going to be software updates. Running Android 13, November 2023 security patch. Don't know. Is it getting Android 14? Yeah, maybe. Is it going to get maybe a couple more security patches, maybe 1 or 2 a year? But that's kind of the downside to a lot of these phones. That's what you're living with. You're living with an upgrade cycle, or an update cycle rather, that you don't really know what's going to happen. It's not like with your Pixel, you're getting 6-7 years of updates, and it's just a matter of you getting feature drops and all the rest of it. That's not the case here. There's not going to be any feature drops. In fact, they have some sort of system where they can update the phone without giving you a security patch. And they do that. Like if there's a bug in the camera or something like that, something they absolutely need to fix, they go back and they'll give you like an update from the company that doesn't include a Google security patch. So it's kind of a backwards way of doing it, but it is something. At least you get, if there's a bug or something major wrong with the phone, they do have a way to update it, and it's not reliant upon a Google security patch. So software is definitely going to be a downside. 6.6-inch display. It's LCD, reasonably colorful, reasonably bright. You're not going to have a whole lot of issues there. It's one of these phones. It's a rugged phone. However, with the strap, with the performance, with the RAM, with the battery life, and with that speaker, it's a rugged phone that kind of breaks the mold of it a little bit. It kind of goes beyond just that niche of the rugged phone where you're just going to want it for, I don't know, whatever, just extended battery life. This is a phone that you can actually consider daily driving because of the fact, like I said, you could carry it around. You got the speaker, you got the decent performance, so you're not completely sacrificing on that. The screen isn't awful, and you have that extended battery life. So for $340, I think that's at least worth a look. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.